intelligence is on a path to becoming abundant. And if cognition is abundant, then it begs the question, does being the smartest person in the room matter? And I think that the answer is probably no. And then the question is, what does matter? I would argue that the point of being alive today is no longer being the most brilliant, it's being the most curious.
I just want to enable everyone to be an agent in the future. Fatalism and cynicism cannot win out. We need people who are actively engaged in building the world that we want to describe.
At this moment, while we are so concerned about the idea that AI might make us less human, we haven't considered the fact that it may force us to be more. What if intelligence was a resource, like water, like electricity, like the internet? And what if it would be unmetered? Unmetered intelligence. Unmetered intelligence is not universal brilliance. It is not the idea that we will all be smart. The internet does not mean that you do research. Literacy does not mean that you read. Unmetered intelligence does not mean that you will be brilliant. It means that you will have access to unmetered brilliance, and what you do with it, what we do with it, will define everything. So I present to you what I think are the ways that unmetered intelligence may complicate and compromise our lives. How might this make things harder or worse for us? And I will start with my theory of idiocracy. The idiocracy is exactly what it sounds like. It's the concept that says at some point a human may discover that critical thinking is no longer of material importance to survival, and they will stop doing it. When I talk about idiocracy, a lot of people, especially in a room this big, will sort of turn to the person next to them, someone did, I'm sure of it, and say, we're already there. And honestly, I don't totally disagree.
There is a very scary phenomenon happening right now, which is the addiction to the device. We are horribly addicted to our device, and we talk about it as a thing that's happening to the kids. And I have to remind everyone that the average Candy Crush user is a 59-year-old woman.
Bad acting. What they don't teach us in school is that about 9% of the population is what we call antisocial. For most of human history, this population had to see you in order to hurt you. And then we invented the internet. We have supercharged people with the internet, and we are supercharging them again with AI. If everyone has access to incredible technology, a lot of people are going to do great things, and a few people aren't.
We are all descendants of people whose jobs were automated to our collective economic benefit. And then you realize that everyone in this moment is so excited for AI to automate everyone else's job, just not their own.
The identity displacement crisis that's coming, I think, is very real. I think it's a thing that we have to talk about. There is a future where so much can be automated so that there can be way more and way better food on the table, and a lot of people are left wondering, what now? And now that I've sufficiently scared you, let me tell you how things can go well. And the spoiler alert here is I think they can go really well. Deflation is my second hottest take. And when I talk about deflation, people get really bothered. And recently someone asked, has that jerk ever been in a grocery store? And of course I haven't.
Even the current ruling class cannot stop to consider what it might look like if we built a lot more incredible things. What if we just had a lot more amazing everything? What if housing was in fact incredibly affordable for everyone? What if healthcare was in fact incredibly affordable for everyone and a lot better? What if education? The bigger pie applies everywhere. There's going to be a lot more market, a lot more stuff, a lot more of everything.
I think that unmetered intelligence is going to massively reduce suffering and increase joy. And here's why. The expansion of human potential. There are about 10,000 people studying the cure for cancer today. 10,000 people on Earth trying to figure out how we solve what we all agree is a very terrible problem. So we can't print more oncological researchers. What do? We supercharge them. And AI, an unmetered intelligence, asks a very interesting question. Not what if there were 1 million oncological researchers, but what if we made 10,000 oncological researchers 1,000 times more productive? And that is happening. Scientific breakthroughs are arriving. It is one of the great promises of unmetered intelligence, and the indicators here are flashing green. We discovered our first antibiotic in 60 years recently because of AI. We split HIV out of DNA recently because of AI. Baby KJ, the first infant ever, received a custom gene therapy invented by CRISPR and AI to cure it of a previously immutable disease that would have killed it by the age of 4. That's awesome.
The world is a beautiful place. We have to build a better one now. We get a chance to do it. We get a chance to show the next generation that technology can, in fact, bring us closer together. And we get a chance to remember the point of this technology is to free us to do the stuff that we want to do. That is the incredible opportunity that we have.
I really believe at the end of the day that so much of what's happening right now is putting us on a very interesting path if we can get through this window wherein we wake up and realize that humans are required to compete on a different basis. That in fact, it may be our courage and our wisdom, our empathy, our humor that differentiate us. And I think many people are going to discover very soon that this is also true for them. My father is an oncologist. He has been practicing medical oncology for 40 years, and he very recently won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Breast Cancer Association of America for his contribution to the field. And just before he received his award, a patient of his came on stage and she spoke for 5 minutes. For the first 30 seconds, she talked about her patient outcome. She had survived breast cancer and was now giving back to the community alongside my dad. For the next 4.5 minutes, she talked about how he made her feel. She described getting a cancer diagnosis and going to see 3 oncologists and getting the same 3 prognoses and the same 3 treatment recommendations. She said she realized that the doctor was no longer the smartest thing in the room. The technology had progressed far enough that the machine now knew the next best action, and it wasn't actually the doctor's decision. And then she said, the bedside manner is no longer a feature, it's the product. And that changed my life. In that moment, I realized my father was no longer important to his community because he was brilliant. He was important to his community because he was courageous and compassionate. The currencies of the future are not how brilliant you are, they are humor, curiosity, empathy, courage, wisdom, morality, the list goes on.
I wake up every day so excited about what AI may do, because I am no longer worried that it's going to make us more robotic. We may discover that AI doesn't just incline us to be more human, it requires us to be more human. How can we differentiate collectively and individually in a world where the machine is so much smarter than we are, if not on the basis of how human we are? We live in a world where you find yourself so constantly bombarded with bad news that you can't even take the time to learn about the good stuff. And what I have to say is quite simply this. If you want to build a better world, if you want to imagine a future that is better, you have to start talking about it. Optimism, I argue, is not naive. It is a critical missing ingredient in building the future that we want our children to grow up in. And if I can be a source of it for you today, that is great. Please be a source of it for someone tomorrow. Thank you so much.